you're being overtaken if there's 3 or 4 cars behind you that don't get qualified.
Hey, well explained, Larko, because we're on board now with Fabian Coulthard, and this is the replay down at turn 3. He got in there, but he had a little bit of contact there with wheel to wheel, which is why it was so violent with Chaz Mostert. You can see he's caught behind Slade, a little bump, and then you can see the effect there with young Chaz.
It's his engineering group and Adam De Borre on the right who look after him, so they were worried about the effects of that. It was Fabian that we were riding with, interestingly, and deep into the race to achieve this. 1 minute 10.5 for Jamie Whitcup on the last lap, fastest lap of the race. That normally doesn't happen with tyres after they've had a little bit of a bite out of them.
Hey guys, found a great place to take you this circuit. Have a look at this on the hill at Queensland Raceway. There are thousands of people who have come out here to enjoy it today, and they're getting the best view. They are about 10 metres from the track. Great news that the Queensland government has renewed this event for the next 3 years, along with the Gold Coast and Townsville. And obviously V8 Supercar fans have come out to say that is good news for us. They are enjoying a great race, team.
And as always, you're not too far away from the paddock club, are you, Chris?
That's spot on, man.
Well, this is a good run here for Mark Winterbottom because Courtney was wider than the ideal line at 2. Look at the corner exit speed that Frosty's got on him. He's tucked under the rear wing. He grabs 6th gear. He'll have a sniff down the inside. He looks. Both of them will be maxed out under brakes. Courtney holds his ground. Very late braking, but he's got to be able to stop it. And he does.
I thought he had him then. I thought that Winterbottom was going to be in a position to dive down the inside, but... And what was very good, Neil, you made the point of James' braking performance, but he didn't cover, he didn't block, he just stayed out on the race line and broke the car as hard as he could possibly stop it. So those braking forces we've spoken of already, that was a very good piece of driving.
Larry Perkins has a saying in relation to that: the fastest way around a racetrack is on the racing line. James chose that approach then to the best defence, drive the car as hard and as fast as he can in the best possible way, and so he stayed out where he needed to, where the grip was.
So we're with you. We're looking under the back of James Courtney's car, and we're on board also in the chair, in the office with Mark Winterbottom. So this is the spot. He's got to get a run. It's easy to overrun the entry. You can see the exit there, sideways for Courtney. This will be enough this time. This will be enough. Break it. Just down there. Very good job.
You see the front brake rotors on James Courtney's car then were completely glowing red. We saw it again in replay. You'll just get a glimpse of it in the shadows in the background. The brake force is enormous.
Some guys go back to 3rd. You can see the position of the gear on the steering wheel there. That was 2nd gear for Courtney at turn 4. Up to 3rd as soon as he got out of there between 4 and 5. This is the battle with Lowndes and McLaughlin. Young Jack Perkins looks on with Gary Rogers. Young Scott.
Gary's a big fan of Jack. He drove really well for him in the endurance races last year, and that's given him the opportunity to stay with that group this year. Gary's had a great eye for young talent for many years, given many drivers an opportunity to really spread their wings in the category.
Hey boys, I thought that overtaking manoeuvre then was really clear evidence that this business, because there's no points awarded at half-time, I'll just cruise around. And for me, that's a lot of rot. I mean, the driver, as you know, will pull his race helmet on and he will drive the car as fast as he can and pick up as many positions as he can to put himself in the best position for that restart. So anything else other than that, as far as I'm concerned, rubbish.
Oh, Larko, sorry, but we're gasping in the background because Jonathan Webb's got fistfuls of opposite lock here at the moment. He's being attacked by all and sundry. He's got Lee Holdsworth around him, Tim Blanchard and David Wall. These guys are in a huge battle down the order for 23rd and thereabouts, and it's a fight to the death. This is Holdsworth, exit turn 3. David Wall slots in the Wilson security car. That's one of the Brad Jones racing entries, and he's trying to find a gap up the inside of Jonathan Webb. John has had an awkward weekend. He was struggling in practice 3 this morning. He hasn't had a good qualifying. Have a go at the brakes I made reference to on Courtney's car. Right at the very end, see the glowing red of those brake rotors. Big brake pressures. Pretty much the equivalent to a 100-kilo leg press, and you're not getting the benefit of doing it with both legs. You've got to do it with one.
Boys, we've got Aaron Noonan up here in the box who's keeping an eye on our Twitter feed and social media, and it's been lighting up after that turn 3 lap 1 incident involving Craig Lowndes, which cost both Mark Winterbottom and Fabian Coulthard dearly. Use the hashtag V8SC and let us know what you think, because it's now going to be dealt with post-race, and that seems to be the biggest issue for a lot of people. What do you think about it? Jump on Twitter and let us know using the hashtag V8SC.
And it goes to the deepest emotions in the sport because it goes along brand lines as well. It's a Holden v Ford scenario, so it was Winterbottom that was worst off, and then Fabian Coulthard was an unwitting victim on the outside.
Hey Matty, hashtag V8SC, here goes. I reckon he's gone. But the benefit he's got is by his team, who are the best at it, they'll put up a very strong argument. But we all know what he did there. I think he should be gone.
At the other end of the scale, Jamie Whincup's just pulling away 2.4 seconds.
His last lap wasn't quick though, he was 8/10 slower than McLaughlin. Could have been a bit of traffic in that process.
I guess, is there any need? He's only got 1 lap to get to the halfway mark. And if you haven't seen a 60-60 Super Sprint race so far this year, do not miss the double file rolling restart. It's quite an incredible sight. 28 V8 supercars all bunched together with one man in control. And at this stage, that man will be Jamie Whincup.
Interesting how many times this fella bounces back from adversity. The last event was the first time since Sydney 2010 that we hadn't seen a Red Bull car on a podium. It was a shocking weekend for them in Townsville. And then dig deep and look where he is. So it's not a race win, but it's not a bad spot to be.
The other thing that Larko said before, I totally agree with. You could see Mark Winterbottom trying so hard to get by Courtney, because although this doesn't constitute any points at this stage of proceedings in this 60-60 format, when you go into the restart, you're further up. So that basically got Winterbottom onto the second row with Lowndes. So that's a critical pass in a very, very critical stage of the race. It gives him a chance of winning the 60-60 in the next segment.
And let's remember that in the 3 60-60 races we've had, like I said before, nobody's converted a half-time lead. So it's only short history, but history is against Jamie Whincup. And further to your point, Crompo, he is an expert at bouncing back. Shown over the years, hence the reason why he's 4-time V8 Supercar champion.
Garth Tander fans, he's come from 19th to 11th, so 8 positions for Garth. So just outside the top 10 now, right behind Jason Bright.
What's interesting is the number of drivers that at the moment are effectively debriefing. So Mark Winterbottom's on the radio constantly at the moment, just talking about what he wants for the next half of this race.
So at half-time, Whincup leads them.
Good job. Thank you, all bit extra close.
Scott McLaughlin held his position as well. Craig Lowndes has a very big question mark hanging over his day. It won't be sorted until the end of the race. Mark Winterbottom in 4th. James Courtney also held his ground in 5th. Jason Bright making up the 10. You mentioned Garth Tander, Scapie, and that's 11th for him.